I don't know if I'm gonna keep that song in the rotation. I just have I just play from the entire album that I bought from Jazz Dog, so um, maybe that song is not the best song for opening the stream. But hello, everybody. Hi. I just shaved my head and showered, so the hair is gonna be wet for a little bit. Sorry. Very freshly cleaned vibes, you know? It's like when you get your clothes back from the dry cleaner kind of thing. YouTube chat. What's up over to the YouTube chat today? There's Mickey who just dropped in to leave a like. Good thinking. We love that. Ancom Jane, Quantum Chaos, hello. Dally Greaser, Nikki Star, John, hello. And what's up to the website chat? Hello. Sapphic Hazard, Cursed Chaos, Nuvenol. Guess what? Oh, I don't know. Chicken butt. I don't have anything. I don't have anything prepared today. Um but yeah, I like them all. Remind me of SNES games. Yeah, people keep saying like Mega Man, like Jazz Dog's music reminds them of Mega Man. I like all of them. I was Cursed Chaos. Ah. Ooh. Bouncing back and forth between the chats, people. Oh gosh, what a week. I have made the dubious and unfortunate decision, not really a decision, I'm just doing a bad job of drawing boundaries in my life so I can make it like a few days without checking social media. But I mean, I guess it's like everything going on in Los Angeles right now. It's kind of hard to completely check out and ignore, partially because like no matter where you go, people are talking about it. No matter where you are, everybody's like, let's talk about what's going on in LA. And it's like, yeah, it is important. And I am, anxious to hear what happens moving forward. Fresh shave is sick, actually. Thank you. We got both sides. So we're going to I'm going out into the outside world this weekend. So I really wanted to make sure that I don't overheat while I'm outside in the outside world. So you know? Ooh, oh shoot. There was something that I was gonna do before the stream and I forgot until just now. Listen, I'm gonna just be right back, okay? We haven't even gotten into anything. I promise I'll be back momentarily. Quantum Chaos just left a donation. I'll be right back, I swear. You know, I'm just gonna do the thing here. My partner asked me to like he got these like giant ice cubes and he was like, "Hey, can you pull those out?" Uh and I'm like and like put them in the bag. And yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. Quantum Chaos G Mini Christmas $50 Canadian says, "Let's get this party started right. My boss is a Nazi POS and it brings me joy to give his money to trans and non-binary folks. Let's F up some poop or whatever. Also remember that it's always acceptable to redacted for liability purposes." Thank you. I appreciate that. I am very glad that you feel like you're putting your money to good use by donating it to trans and non-binary people. That's wonderful. Okay, I have one ice cube. Ah, ah, ah. Ooh, how much is that? In US dollars, that's 41.33. So $41.33 going into the total for today. Bam. There we go. Starting off the stream strong. But yeah, I'm sorry your boss is a jerk. That sucks. Oh, come back, chat. Where'd you go? There you go. Hello, Mabs. Welcome in. So, yeah, how has everybody's week been? I am, I've just been getting knocked on my ass repeatedly by being disabled and like being super duper stressed out. So, honestly, my number one task right now is to fucking put my shoulders down. Like I keep doing this and like I keep realizing that I'm doing this and I think that this is part of my problem, including like all the way to the medical issues that I'm having. I think it's that my parasympathetic nervous system never gets a chance to work. Just constant sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight mode all the time. So that's kind of what I'm trying to work on the fundamental level. It seems like I'm not going to hear back from that job I applied to, so I'm just kind of like rededicating myself to making the best of my current situation by doing movie reviews, which has been a lot of fun, actually. I am also realizing that it takes me a little while before I really understand when I dislike something. I think I disliked the movie Close to You with Elliot Page. I know maybe I don't know if that's like controversial or whatever, but like it was just such a drab movie. It was not a very happy film. And also there was like no resolution to any of the conflict in it. So I felt a little unsatisfied by it. And like I wouldn't have known that I disliked Close to You if I hadn't followed it up by watching She's the Man, a movie that I fucking loved. Like I adored that movie. It was so funny, and I am looking forward to like the next time I do a movie review. I figured out how to take screenshots. Shout out to Gayfesh for helping me figure that out. Um, yeah, and I'm gonna hopefully like be able to increase the quality of the movie reviews by intercutting like maybe even clips and stuff. Okay, so now I'm gonna go put this ice back in the freezer. 1 second. Okay, now we're ready to actually start the show. Hi. Yay, nervous system and weather changes. Yeah, it's been super duper duper hot the last several days in the valley here, and it's finally starting to chill out a little bit and kind of become more of like what you would expect. I don't know. I gotta say, the fact that you can just expect it to drop back down into the 70s is real nice, because when I was a young boy and I lived in Kansas, it was just like it'll just be 80 degrees. Like I mean, should check the weather in Kansas City right now. Hold on. 91. Like it's 91 degrees, and then it's gonna drop down to like 77, and then back 81, and then whoop up to 89 again, and then just 80s, 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 and it's humid as shit down there too. So yeah, it's really kind of interesting here in the Willamette Valley, just being like, oh yeah, it does get hot. Like it does get into the 90s sometimes, but like then it chills back out and it's like, oh, it's June and it's just gonna be in the 70s, except for when it randomly jumps up higher for a few days. Listen, I'm not upset about it. The one thing that does suck is that we don't really get thunderstorms here in the valley, but I can live without that if it means that it's not gonna be just like 80 degrees constantly. What's up, Junebug? I've missed a lot, just too busy with job. Yeah, no worries. Oh no. Kitty, you're having a troubleshooting problem with your keyboard? I need to get a new keyboard. This one is like acting up, and also this one doesn't have like easily swappable switches. And it's also like not as quiet as it could be. So I would really like to be able to invest in a new keyboard, but I have to. There's so many other things I need to do before I can do that. Really, like a new mouse and keyboard. I need both of those things. Yep. I think all of our nervous systems are probably a little bit overactive. Not by any fault of our own. Oh, Junebug got a community garden plot. Nice. I haven't been working on mine like at all, but it's because like I don't have my car most of the time. So I'm like I have to like figure out how to get there. It's like a pretty long walk for me to walk to my garden. So I'm like, and then to get there and have like a bunch of physical labor to do and then have to walk home, like I just don't want to fucking deal with it most of the time. Is this broken air conditioner or just got out of the shower hair? I just got out of the shower. I shaved my head and I showered right before stream. My air conditioner, we finally have gotten some window units installed and they work pretty well. It's on right now. I don't even know if you guys can tell that the AC is on right now. I'm trying not to like, I'm trying to like curb the instinct to like shout over it because my microphone is right here. I don't need to like shout over my air conditioner. It's not till July that the weather starts to dry out. In the valley, yeah, I'm not psyched about like, I don't know, I guess like dry heat. I did enjoy. One time, what was it? I think I was like, I had to fly to New Mexico for my grandma to then pick me up because she lived in southern Colorado. And so we were like driving through Albuquerque, New Mexico area. And it was real dry heat, but it was like really hot. But I remember being like, oh, this feels great. Like, this feels amazing. So maybe a dry heat wouldn't be as bad. Zypation says Amanda Bynes is actually still under a parental guardianship and seeking some hashtag free Britney attention at 38 years old. Zypation lists a Cash App and says I've been communicating to her through that with the 40 character limit. Really? Wow. I did not know about that. I need to look into that. Okay. I will look into that more later. Oh, no. Okay, Kitty says, I'm annoyed. I just bought this keyboard, and I think something small spilled on it, and I just need to take the face off of it to clean it so that the keys will stop sticking and everything. But they've made up another screw I don't have the driver for, and I am tired of that. Oh, man. Yeah, my husband has, like, iFixit kit and multiple different iterations of that. But it's like, yeah, you shouldn't have to have a million different screw heads in order to fucking do basic maintenance on your stuff. Like, didn't the Supreme Court rule that we have a right to repair? Or is that still something that's being actively worked through in the courts? That sounds like something that might still be actively being worked through. Hmm. Ooh, Nikki says, I was just appointed to the board of a trans charity run by trans folks. That's great news. I love that. That's very exciting. I am so proud of everybody for getting directly involved and like making a difference in your communities and in the world. Proud. So many different ways to be proud this month. Certainly the corporations will find 1,000 ways around the right to repair stuff. Probably. And like, yeah, with this current administration being so like pro corporation at the extreme detriment of human well-being, as in the striking down of the Chevron doctrine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really super hopeful that we're actually going to get an established right to repair. You know, like judicial ruling or law or anything. Oh boy. Kitty says, I love how everyone's like, oh, yay, more sea ice. See, climate change is a hoax. And I'm just sitting here like, the climate is a pendulum and it is swinging further in both extremes. Colder winter means more ice, hotter summer, and all that ice and more will melt. Really wish more people knew about the environment and stuff in general. It's just physics at a global scale, guys. Yeah. It's really amazing how people, I mean, it's one of the great things, I guess, about humans as a species is that we specialize to such a degree that, like, you don't necessarily need to know anything outside of your particular field. If you're really good at your job and you do well at it, then you don't really need to learn a new skill. This is the struggle that I've been in, where I'm like, I seem to not be doing particularly well at the job that I have given myself. And, like, yeah, I'm like not succeeding at it particularly well. So there's an impulse to be like, maybe I need to learn a different skill. Maybe I need to try to do something else that I might actually be good at. Although, now that I'm just like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to start talking about movies and just like say, fuck it. I'm just doing trans movies, see if we can bump the channel in that direction. I don't know. But I'm saying I get it. Like, people are stuck in their particular lanes sometimes, and not everyone wants to learn new stuff. I know sometimes I'll be reading something and then I'm like, I don't want to know any of this. Like, I don't want to know any of the things that I'm reading right now, and I'll just stop reading something. I'm like, look, it turns out you don't need to read every single thing that crosses your timeline. Just skip stuff. I'm like, I don't want my brain to be full of this information. So I just ignore shit sometimes. And I think that people do that on a mass scale where they're like, yeah, I don't want to know that because it bums me out and I don't feel like I can do anything about it, you know? The Arctic storms are going to get worse, and that will also lead to worse tornado and hurricane seasons. The Pacific Ocean is about to be a whole lot more interesting. I am curious to see what happens with that. Because, I mean, yeah, there was like a hurricane in California, and that like supposedly never happens. So me having gone through and looked at all of the different factors that make this part of the world relatively safe as far as global warming is concerned, and like the increased extreme weather events that are going to come along with that, does it turn out that actually there are just a bunch of highly unpredictable fucked up things that are going to start happening climate-wise on the West Coast? Hi, Drea. I've always maintained that the moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. Learning keeps you young. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to learning. I just don't need to know everything. Like, I just personally am like, yeah, I don't need to know everything. Doge cut a lot of NOAA funding too. Yeah. So it's like, we're going to have even less warning for all these severe weather events. I'm really hoping that states start implementing their own. Like, I'm sure states that have pretty stable economies will be able to do this, but I would like to see states like Oregon and California and everything basically being like, can we as the state like rehire a lot of these people who have been laid off from these other things and like create maybe an interstate cooperative, basically like the NOAA, but just like in cooperation with other states instead of being ran by the federal government. I would still say that overall the West Coast is a good place to be geographically. Our worries are really long-term, volcanoes and earthquakes. Sure. And of course, I don't live right next to the coast, so even if there were to be more of those, what was it called? The bomb cyclone? Was that what it was? The like random thing that happened a couple times last year? But even if we start seeing hurricanes over here, like, I don't live on the coast, so I'm not as concerned about personally having, like, any of my shit destroyed. Yeah. Can the states start billing the federal government for things the Fed is supposed to be covering? It would be nice. It like sucks that our like federal taxes are gonna stay the same or go up, even for like lower and middle class people. And we're getting less and less and less to show for it. But yeah, in order for states to accommodate the needs that are going to arise in the absence of federal assistance, they're going to have to increase state level taxes. Crazy. There is the Cascadia quake that could come at any minute and devastate the western half of the PNW. I mean, wait, that's not the big one, right? That's not the big one that everybody always talks about where it's like the California fault. Because I was pretty sure I was just watching a video about that, and the big one on the San Andreas fault is not going to affect where I live at all. But there's a Cascadia quake that could happen. Kitty says, we will probably start seeing periodic tornadoes in flat places more on the west coast. As the sea ice has opened up and changed the North Pacific current's speed in some ways, we have some interesting things coming. Water is now passing across the top of Canada freely, and northern right whales have made their way to the Atlantic for the first time in over 100 years. Wow. Mainly in the middle parts, make sure you buy land that has a hill and build on it. I would just always recommend building on or in a hill. There might be periodic flooding from excessive rain. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right next to the river for sure. Like, we have like these big rivers that go through Oregon and Washington, and yeah, so I could see like increased flood conditions being a concern really close to those waterways and in like similar low-lying zones. My concern is if we are paying federal taxes, but the burden is on the states instead, I think it would become time to dissolve the Fed. Right, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen, and I don't even know if I know what is the best thing to happen in the future, so I'm not going to come down and say, like, we need to dissolve the federal government, but I am saying that it does seem like faith in the federal government has been pretty low on all sides for a while now. Like, this is kind of the basis upon which right-wing people, like, hang their entire ideology. Like, anyone with a libertarian skewed ideology, which, like, I guess I would say a lot of conservatives, maybe not right-wingers, but a lot of conservatives are fairly, like, they're the kind of, people who like to get in car chases with the cops because they think it's funny, and, like, they bitch about paying taxes and, all that kind of shit. So I just, now that so many more left-leaning people, or even, normie people, are like, wow, the federal government kind of fucking sucks, which is just, it just is common now for people to feel that way. I feel like a lot of people are involuntarily having to pay attention to politics right now, and, like, a lot of people just want things to run smoothly and not have to think about it too much most of the time. And so now that things are not working smoothly, they're starting to get annoyed, and then they have to pay attention, and they resent people who force them to pay attention, which is kind of great because it means when progressives are trying to get people who are not progressive actively to, like, hey, pay attention to this progressive cause, it's annoying to people. People are like, oh my God, I don't care about this. Like, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to deal with your thing. And so there's all this, like, ire that gets directed toward activists who disrupt normal people's lives. This is why normal people are like, well, I can kind of understand why someone would run over protesters who are blocking the highway. Like, I have places to be. I'm not saying I would run over a person, but I can understand the mindset that someone might be in. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't want your life to be disrupted. And that's, like, the main thing that they care about. So now that it's like the politics itself is fucking them over personally, now we're starting to see them, they're like actively annoyed with the system the way that they should be annoyed with the system all the time, because the system is not working for other people. Just because it's working for you doesn't mean it is okay. But yeah, like, I don't know what is inevitably, like, it's inevitably people are losing faith in the federal government. People are going to start putting their resources into local shit. Like, people are donating money to Kat Abugazale's campaign. And it's people who don't even live in Illinois, much less people who don't live in her district, the district she's running in. So yeah, it is gonna be interesting to see what happens as people lose their faith in the federal government, period. Like, I don't even know how many folks are gonna come out of this administration thinking, oh yeah, let's get a Democrat in there. Like, that'll make things better. Like, I don't even know if collectively, I mean, you could view that as maybe kind of what happened with this most recent election is, you know, even normies were not like, yeah, if we just get this Democrat in the office, then the system will fix itself, then things will get better. You know, like, that is like why things are the way that they are right in this moment, is because the Democrats are like not presenting something that we can be particularly invested in either. So it's like, yeah, we just lack faith increasingly in those systems. And so, like, how long can they continue to perpetuate themselves? The more people turn away from them, the more people get pissed off at the intrusion into their daily lives. Oh yeah, that's fair. The worry about the Cascadia quake is that it may trigger Mount Hood and the other mountains in this volcanic range. Yes, this is a volcanic range with multiple different mountains in it that could go boom. But I don't think that they're particularly serious. Like, certainly not like a super volcano level of concern. And if anything, that'll just, I mean, it may, you know, it may blot out the sun for a short period of time, but then we will have a ton of volcanic ash, which is wonderful for the crops. And this is a very agricultural region, so... Conspiracy brain, what if Elon cut the NOAA to get a fat contract for a private weather system? Maybe, but they're not doing business now. I don't think they're going to do business anymore. I think Trump is done having Elon around. Like, Elon's a weird guy, and Trump doesn't like him, so he doesn't have to cater to him anymore. He's like, already won the election. Bye. Oh, apparently the Cascadia one could reach a 10 on the Richter scale. Is that like the maximum? I don't know the Richter scale, but it sounds like a lot. The problem is that even if Trump gets pushed out, the precedent has been set. Without radical changes to the Constitution and laws, we can easily slide right back. I think a Democrat would be the worst, because then the country can slide back into complacency. All the Democratic Party cares about is maintaining the status quo. Yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen. I have no predictions. I am prepared to think about movies more than I think about politics. I'm not going to ever be able to stop thinking about politics, if for no other reason than that is how I have curated my feeds, and all of my friends are also marginalized and therefore always talking about these things. But I definitely have been enjoying watching movies more. The whole Willamette Valley, from Vancouver to Roseburg, pretty much, used to be a massive wetlands marsh, so water likes to collect there if it gets too heavy, which is why we need better wetlands management. A lot of people are living in old wetlands and are unaware that there might be a problem if rain season changes in the year. Ooh, yeah, okay. They made up today? I don't know. I don't think they're gonna actually fully make up. That's just my opinion. Ooh, have fun, Shakespeare. Heading out for our decoration party this Friday. I'm putting on my first Pride production, a T for T4NB dance party. Love that. That's amazing. What's up, Heathen Granny? How does seeing the end of capitalism feel? Um, yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess I feel a little disembodied sometimes. Just going, like, I'm like, things keep happening that I couldn't have possibly predicted. And so that I think really helps me disengage in that particular way where I'm like, oh yeah, well shit, I guess we're just all along for the ride now because I didn't see that coming, didn't expect that. You can always talk about the Ren Fair. I can't talk about the Ren Fair much until after I actually go. I haven't been yet. I didn't so I didn't stream on Sunday this past week, not because I was at the Ren Fair, but because it was fucking 97 degrees outside and my air conditioner was running the entire day, and I didn't want to try streaming when it was like that hard to keep it cool in here. I do have the AC on now. I think I'm gonna want to turn it off though, because it's like I don't actually like having it on at the same time that I'm trying to stream, even if you guys can't really hear it. It's not as fun as I thought it would be. Fewer lasers than I was hoping there would be during the fall of capitalism. Yeah, totally. Parties can be praxis too. It's all about bringing our community together and giving us a space that is ours rather than some place we take over for the night. Yeah, that's fair. I need to play catch up. My partner has a job now and he's making friends with one of his coworkers, and I have like not done anything social in my local area since I got here basically. I mean, at first I was like, oh, let me go to this business and like talk to somebody for a little while and ask them what they do to socialize and things. And then I just got super fucking depressed and fucked up for a couple months, and I haven't been trying to go out there and make friends. So like I really need to get out there and like try to meet human people. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my AC real fast. Just real quick. Okay, it's not off, but it will kick on less often. Hope you're doing well today. I'm doing pretty okay. I hope you're doing well today, heathen granny. Honestly, I think it's realistic to be super depressed these days. I mean, like, yeah. Yeah. I think that we all just need to, like, try to do things that are gonna make us feel okay. It's hard when we feel like... I've just felt like I'm treading water for a while. Like, that I'm not getting better, whether that's my mental health or whether that's my physical health. Like, I feel like... And my, like, channel, like, I haven't... I don't know. It's so weird because I'm looking back at, you know, my productivity level, like, before I got COVID in, like, September last year. And I'm like, I was putting out these videos, like, on a regular basis and getting pretty decent views. And I don't know, like, I don't know, like, I say pretty decent. Mostly all in the same range with some dipping below. But I don't know, it's like... I just perceive it as lacking success, probably because the subscriber count has been relatively stagnant. Like, even if the videos are performing half decent. And like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I guess I'm looking at 2023 right now. But anyway, is there any tips to feeling safe in an unsafe world? I mean, I think the best way to feel safe in an unsafe world is to try your best to... I don't know, man, the channel was doing pretty fucking well. I was getting, like, upwards of 3,000, 5,000 views on, like, most of my videos throughout, like, March of last year. It's just that I can't fucking do this politics shit anymore. Are your website views going up at all? I don't look at that at all. I only look at YouTube metrics. I pretty much don't check out the website stuff. Which is that something that I should care about more? I don't know. I feel like, you know, people aren't gonna, like, spontaneously discover my website. People will discover the YouTube channel. I guess I assume that there's basically no way for my website to be the first thing people see from me. But I don't know. Tips for feeling unsafe. for feeling more safe, equip yourself with like knowledge and skills that make you safer in actuality. Like learn how to get away and de-escalate a scary situation and learn self-defense and dress practically so that you can run away from people or kick ass as necessary. Like, if you feel unsafe, then take steps to make yourself feel safer because the world is unsafe. There's kind of two approaches to this because it's basically like deciding whether your fear is rational. I would say if you're trans, then your fear is rational right now. If you're you're in the world, you're living your life, and you're like worried that people are going to clock you as trans, I think that's a reasonable fear to have, kind of no matter where you are in the world right now. And so instead of trying to manage your fear by telling yourself there's nothing to be afraid of, manage your fear by rehearsing situations where like the scary thing could happen, and imagine yourself successfully getting out of the situation, and then do any skills that are required to make it so that you actually can physically get out of the situation if it happens. People would always question my attire, says Dally, and one time I answered, I can run in this. They gave me a weird look. Hello from India, here for the first time on your stream. Can you explain what it's about? Well, we just kind of hang out here. So I'm trans, and we talk about usually issues that are related to that, but we can talk about all kinds of different stuff. We talk about politics, we talk about video games, we talk about TV shows and movies, we talk about books, we talk about therapy, we talk about drama in the community. Like, we talk about all kinds of shit. Today, I don't have a specific plan. We kind of end up just talking about whatever, like however the conversation flows, really. If you're in Portland now, become best friends with Robert Evans and Sophie Lichterman, and then you can be on Behind the Bastards. Yeah, fair enough. This has been my quarrel with a lot of, quote, feminine clothing. It does not give you a full range of motion. So I've been thinking about this, like, okay, so I need to stay cool because I overheat very easily, right? But I like to wear certain things for fashion purposes. I like to wear form-fitting pants because I like how I look in skinny jeans. I think my ass looks good. I like the look. But it's fucking really hot a lot of the time. And I was thinking too of like, what kind of stuff could I wear if I were to like start hiking, for example, where I could feel stylish but not overheat. And so today, actually, I'm wearing shapewear. Like, I'm wearing functionally Spanx. They don't come up high, like some shapewear does. So, whatever. But I kind of just wanted to try it out because I feel like a very mild form of abdominal compression might help me with my symptoms. And honestly, it feels pretty great. I just put them on for the first time since I just got out of the shower. So I put them on for the first time, and they're actually very, very comfortable. And I think I could wear these and then like a skirt. I think that would be comfortable to go hiking in. If like, because I have a skirt that's got a real loose like waist area. It's like elastic, but not elastic in a way that is painful. So yeah, I'm actually like wondering if I could get away with wearing shapewear underwear every day. I don't know. I think people generally recommend that you don't do that, but I also like wear compression socks every day, and that's not probably something that most people would do. Shapewear rolls off my belly, giving me a muffin top. I hate it. Yeah, different ones fit differently. I don't want to get into a whole shapewear conversation necessarily because I think that would not be very entertaining, but there's different ones. You can look on like Reddit and specifically use search terms that are like doesn't roll down or whatever. these have been pretty good so far, but I haven't been moving around very much. But I do feel like they're supporting my breathing a little bit, which is kind of what I was hoping for. I can't do shapewear every day. Yeah, I know. It's maybe not an everyday thing, but I want to have the option to basically like have different shapewear every day. Like I would buy more of these that I'm wearing right now so that I could have like several to wear throughout the week. They would be comfy. What's your perception about India as a country? I don't know. I don't really think about it all that much. I think that my country is really disconnected from the news of what's happening in other countries. And I remember stuff from like my world history class and like that, in the way that that led up to current events. My world history teacher kind of made sure that things connected to modern events. I just feel like I don't know enough about India to have like a real solid opinion about it. I know that there's a caste system, and I know that there are Hijra there who are considered like a third gender, and how white people often use that as an indicator that like, look, this other culture has this thing, but it's like also not easy to be Hijra in India. Like it's also something that people are conservative and shitty about and look down upon, even if it is technically like legally acknowledged in some areas. So yeah, I don't know a lot about India. I like Indian food as much as I've had it. It's been good. Too hot for clothing most of the time. Yeah. Part of my journey to replacing my entire wardrobe is also like checking out what materials stuff is made out of, and like probably slowly getting rid of pieces in my wardrobe that I actually do like because there's too much polyester in them. Yeah. Too much polyester. High waisted would work for me, but my waistline has been shrinking and I can't afford to keep up with it. I mean, sure. Yeah. I'm falling definitely into that trap where I think this is something that happens to femme people, where you're like self conscious about your body when you get into your 30s and you start gaining weight, which is a normal thing to happen to you in your 30s, but you're still having an existential crisis about it. Um, but like I'm finding myself not wanting to buy clothes because I'm expecting to lose weight, and like I'm trying to lose weight and it's really fucking hard to do, and I feel like I'm not doing a great job of it. Um, but yeah, I feel like I need to just get over it and be like, look, I deserve to have clothes that fit, and even if I lose some weight, like I can just continue to wear them until they really, really don't fit, and then I can get new clothes later. It's fine. It's acceptable to get new clothes later. You should be wearing and washing your clothes often enough that they experience wear anyway. Like you should want to replace them. Oh my god, excuse me, that was the weirdest burp ever. You should want to replace them at some point. It is easier to take something in. That's true. I do have a badass sewing machine that I don't really know how to use very well. I want to I'm going to like make big changes to my office soon, I think. I really don't like how it's set up. It has bad feng shui. It's not very practical. I can't do things in here the way that I want to. Uh-oh, let me turn this on. My GoXLR app has been off this entire time. Let me make sure that that's running. Okay, cool. But like I have this couch thing over here that I'm like, I want it out of here. I don't sit on it often enough. It's just in the way. So I'm going to move it out. And then I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this space. But that might enable me to also like move my desk into a different location. I don't know. Pink says, I keep my old clothes because I tell myself I would lose the weight and fit back in, but never do. There was a period of time where I was like, okay, I'll keep these because I'm not that different of a size. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to be 120 pounds again. I don't want that. So I'm never going to fit into the clothes that I fit into when I was 20. So I've been getting rid of those. I remember using corsets when I was experimenting with my gender. I love corsets. Like I'm gonna go to the Renaissance Festival soon, and I told my partner, I was like, listen. I like grabbed him. I was like, listen. I cannot buy anything at the Ren Fair. Like I might bring enough cash for food or maybe like a drink, but like there are things that I want. I found out by accident that there is a vendor at this Ren Fair that sells really beautiful bows. Like, okay, this is my bow. First of all, I can't even use this to hunt here, even for squirrels, because the minimum required weight for a hunting bow in Oregon is 40 pounds. This is a 20-pound bow. So I need to buy new limbs anyway for it, and it's modular, so I can unscrew this and like I can put new limbs on. So like so I'm like, oh, I need to upgrade my bow anyway if I want to go hunting with it. And then I found like they're all beautiful, like leather wrapped handles and stuff, and I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, I do not need one. I do not need one. I do not need one. I already have but I don't even have an archery range where I've decided to spend my money there to go do it. Like I don't have a place to shoot my bow yet. So it's like I do not need a new bow, but I really want one. And I also really want a corset because I have a bodice, but it doesn't fit because again, I bought that shit when I was 120 pounds. I weigh 160 pounds right now. It's just not ever gonna happen again. And it's like it's like a bodice that like it's only as low as like this anyway, and I want something that would cover my belly and like be like a waist cincher. But I don't need a fucking but I could kind of make an argument that the corset would be kind of a medical thing. I could make the argument that the corset technically is for medical reasons, like so that I can support my breathing and stuff. Technically. Because honestly, yeah, like this shapewear right now where it's like compressing my abdomen, this is making it easier for me to breathe. I don't know if you guys know this, but like I get air hungry sometimes where I'm like, and it feels like I can't get a full breath of air. And this like, it hasn't happened at all since I've been streaming. And I'm like active, I'm like moving around. So like abdominal compression might be where it's at for me. For me, it's musical instruments, leather, and pointy things. Yes, totally. There are so many things that you can only get at a Ren Fair or at like a similar kind of festival thing, or Etsy, I guess. But it's like, oh, there's so much money I would like to spend that I can't spend. I'm like, I still owe a lot of money on one of my credit cards for taxes that I paid off. And like, I would also like to start saving money because I would like to buy a house someday. And I don't make very much money. Like, here's all I want in the world. Like, okay, I realize that me bitching about money is a little bit gauche because my primary form of income is like donations, either through Patreon pledges or donations like Quantum Chaos dropped earlier. So I just need to expand like how much money I make through ads and all that kind of stuff and expand the pool of people who want to give me money. That's the fucking thing that I have to do. And then all I want is to make enough money that it's not a big deal that I owe $3,000 in taxes at the end of the year. That's all I want. I just want to make enough money that that's not a big deal. I wanted to go this next weekend, but there is simply no way for me to finagle. Yeah, you said that your time was already called for. Somebody else already had dibs on your time, so I totally understand. Milena, welcome. Hope you're doing well. If I ever visit America, I would definitely go to the fair. Yeah, we have all kinds of different ones all over the place, like different Renaissance festivals in different times of the year, in different locations. Finagle a bagel, true. tankards. Listen, I have two tankards. One is ceramic, so it doesn't really go anywhere because I don't want to break it. The other one is leather. I have a leather tankard. I kind of wish that I had gotten a different color. I got a pink one. I don't know. Just yes, Quantum Chaos. Thank you for the 10 Canadian. Did someone say donations? True. Thank you very much. That brings us our total up to $49.58. $49.59 USD. $49.59 USD. Hi, Mr. Kitty. Are you a baby? Are you Mr. Baby? A leather tankard. Yes. The inside is treated to be like, it's like liquid proof, and you can put hot liquids or cold liquids in it. You can't run it through the dishwasher, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know somebody who makes leather tankards. It does kind of put you off a little bit because it does smell like leather. I wonder if maybe that would diminish over time because I've only had it for like a couple years and I don't use it that often. We also have things like the Wasteland Weekend, which is like Ren Fair but Mad Max. I've seen videos from there, and you go on like little fetch quests and stuff. It looks like fun. I love the smell of leather. Yeah, but if you're trying to drink like beer or coffee or something or hot chocolate, it's like it's like a little weird to like have the smell of leather when you're trying to drink something. It's just like a little strange. Wasteland, somewhere between Ren Fair and Burning Man. I love that. I love that. At the moment, I feel like I would be sent to El Salvador the moment I get off the plane if I were to visit the USA. I would not recommend visiting here. I would really highly recommend not visiting here. That seems like a, good decision. Gay Fesh, hello. I saw a sign for a Scandinavian festival that looked ancient, like 30 to 40 miles outside of Salem. Old enough that it might not be running anymore, but we have lots of cool events around Oregon. I wish we were better at attracting musical events, but the Gorge is pretty close up in Washington. Yeah, it seems like there's all kinds of neat stuff. We have, somebody mentioned previously the Enchanted Forest theme park, which seems interesting. People have recommended to me it's something, it starts with a C. It's like Camden or something like that. Camlin Medieval Village in Washington. There's at least 2 different Ren Fair events here. I know that Oregon Ren Fair, the one that's happening right now, is like the biggest one, but there are other ones. So yeah, there's all kinds of shit here. I used to have a personalized leather flogger, and I loved the smell of it. Oh no, you got rid of it after meeting your partner? No. Camlin, okay. I was mostly there. I have a 15-pound flogger that's like getting a massage from a freight train. Holy cow. Mister, are you annoying? Yeah? You're a little annoying? To celebrate getting halfway to the stream goal, I will torture him by making him show up on screen. Hello, Mr. Baby. Are you gross, baby? He's gross. He has fleas right now. And I just put the flea stuff on him earlier this week. So I'm still kind of avoiding touching the back of his neck. Even though it's probably fine now, but I'm just being overly cautious, and you are such a sweet boy. Look at him. See, part of what your donations go to is paying for this fat ass to have food and cat litter. Hi. Are you a good boy? and it somewhat compensates me for the labor of having to refill his water bowl multiple times a day because he knocks it all over the floor. Do you knock the water all over the floor? Are you a little terrorist who knocks the water all over the floor? He is. That's what he does. You say, yeah, he looks grumpy right now, and he is grumpy right now, but the thing is that if I put him down on the floor, he's gonna go back immediately to rubbing all over me because he still wants my attention. He just doesn't want it up here. You're such a sweet boy. It's so sad that nobody ever gets to see how sweet you are because of how much of a curmudgeon you are. Should I take videos of him actually being sweet and post them on Patreon or something so that occasionally someone gets to see him actually being sweet instead of the faces he makes when he's on camera? Are you a good boy? I can feel your tail just a whipping back and forth back there. Okay, will you give me one more kiss and I'll put you down? One more. One more. Give me kisses. Do it. I don't know if you guys can see how close he is to me, but he has to headbutt me or he doesn't get put down. Nope, that wasn't it. You didn't actually do it. You didn't actually do it. These are the rules. He doesn't get put down until you give it kisses. Okay, thank you. And watch, he still won't go away. He won't go away. He's just gonna chill here. Cat videos are always a yes. Yeah, for Patreon, I've been trying to figure out like how am I gonna have Patreon be I don't know. I'm thinking about changing the rewards on it or something. I'm not really sure what to do with it right now. I want to make sure I'm still offering a value to the Patreon. I just haven't really had much to say in a vlog, which is what I was doing for the, like, you know, behind the scenes videos. It's mostly just like private vlogs, but I don't really have anything that I'm willing to share to Patreon that I'm not also willing to share out here. So I don't know. I think he's ready to have you committed. Yeah, he doesn't like... He did actually leave, which is surprising. In Canada, we have an Onion-esque satire site called The Beaverton, which had a great headline. American Tourism Board tries out new slogan, come visit America, and maybe also El Salvador. Yeah, true. He is an aqua terrorist. That's exactly what he is. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have the exact opposite problem with at least 2 of our cats, inappropriate headbutts. Well, yeah, it's a specifically like when we pick him up, or when I pick him up, he's not allowed down unless he headbutts me at least once. So yeah, it's like an arbitrary rule that I've created that makes his life like a slight, like just a little bit of a living hell. A little bit. Liz Leaf, hello! Happy Pride to my queer family. We got this. Yes, we got this. We're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Limited edition Polaroid picture of you and your cat. I try to avoid awards that require me to send anything in the mail. That is an interesting idea, though. Right now, my Patreon is just like... There's 3 different tiers where you get in the credits. And one of them is like I say the credits at the end. I shout out some people through voice. And one of them gets you like a discount on my merch store. And one of them is supposed to get you, like, access to private vlogs, which I also was considering doing some kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, if, for example, I'm doing movie reviews now. Am I gonna put enough work into those that I have extra material that I don't want to put in the main video, but that would actually bring additional value to the Patreon if I had, like, an extended version on the Patreon or something? I don't know. or like something exclusive for Patreon rather than an extended cut if I did something like that was exclusive. I don't know. And I'm also considering like what do people watch with YouTube Shorts anymore? Like so my YouTube Shorts are pretty much exclusively it's from one of these live streams, and usually it's from something that I clip into a video, and I don't know how well that content does as far as shorts go. Like shorts seem to, you know, it's like Instagram reels and TikToks. Like people mostly make them to make them specifically, it seems like. The successful ones anyway. And so I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with that as well. Maybe watch a movie watch along with the members. I have considered doing that. Like if I could offer a perk that's like we can watch this. I think that an easy thing to do is to have there be polls on the Patreon where you all can decide on the Patreon like what movie are we going to watch next? Which is, you know, obviously that's something that I've seen other people do. Like Ashley Burton, I think is the channel name. Like that's the main perk of her Patreon is that people can help decide what she's going to watch next. But yeah. Just kind of trying to figure shit out. I'm just trying to get better at the job that I already have. And see how that goes for a little bit. Do people... Okay, I feel like people want me to watch I Saw the TV Glow because it's a really recent film. But I've also heard that it's like really difficult material to watch. So I don't actually know if I want to watch it right now. But it's like one of the ones that people have mentioned the most frequently when I've been like, hey, what should I watch? What, you know, if I'm going to be reviewing queer movies, what movie should I watch? And this is the one that people keep bringing up. It's a fucking, yeah, like, okay, this is what I've heard. Like, oh, all of the things that you're saying are things that I'm like, I understand that this would be really difficult to watch. And maybe I'm not in the fucking mood right now. So I'm trying to think, like, is there anything else I can review for the next 2 weeks of Pride where I'm like, I'm very exclusively and explicitly doing queer stuff. And, like, I guess I could technically sneak another one in on that Monday, June 30th. But yeah, I don't know that I want to watch more downer movies right now. Congrats, Mabs, on the updated birth certificate. And since it's like these are the first videos that I'm doing that are trying to like establish like, okay, this is media review content. I'm also trying to do stuff that like people that's like not obscure and that people will want to click on initially. Like something with Elliot Page in it, not obscure. That one did really well. This Amanda Bynes one was like, it's like, okay, it's performing okay. It's still working on finding its audience, and maybe I'll need to change some things up to give it another boost. Because I really am trying to like see if I can get these videos to like break out of the bubble, the bubble that we're stuck in. Hit me up in the DMs about it after. This lag is killing me. Oh yeah, I don't know why it's lagging. I'm sorry. If there's just like a big delay between chat and me talking. He is screaming. Hey! Why are you screaming? Still screaming. Hit me up in DMs about it after. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to decide if I will watch I Saw the TV Glow and I will review it. I just don't know if I want to do it right now. I was thinking maybe like Mrs. Doubtfire. That's another just cross-dressing movie. It's like a 22-second delay. I feel like that's not that bad. Question, why aren't we all screaming? You have to take a break. You have to take a break from screaming every once in a while. You can't do it constantly. You'll run out of air and energy. Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. I was thinking of doing Mrs. Doubtfire. I think what my plan is right now, I know I've said repeatedly like that I'm going to start putting like non-trans content on a different channel, but I think what I'm actually going to do is like I'm just going to post like trans and queer specific movie review stuff as a bridge and use that to like, okay, my existing audience will watch stuff that has trans in the title. Okay. So that's okay. So I can get something with our main audience as far as traction. And then I'll start to develop a more movie oriented audience. And then I can start posting more general movie related content, which may still end up with me changing the name of the channel to Musing Moss at a later point. That's a possibility. I have the name Musing Moss saved on one of my other channels. So yeah, that's what I'm in the middle of right now. I'm like, okay, let me just post like 10 movie reviews. And I also really, I don't even know if this was the right move to make, but I recently deleted a shit ton of videos off the channel. Ones that were like, basically like had few views and hadn't gotten any views in the last month. Like I was just like, delete, straight up, like deleted, not even made private, straight up deleted. Because apparently private videos can also impact your channel view. So like YouTube currently thinks that I am a political content creator. I know this because if I go to the inspiration tab where it has little like AI suggestions, like, okay, scientific illiteracy and LGBTQ identity. Okay, that's an interesting concept, right? But it's like navigating gender identity in the workplace. Yeah. Oh, the ethics of online therapy platforms. That's nice because I talk about therapy shit on this. That's like one of the more interesting ones that it's shown me. And then like, okay, accusations of trans identity, a deeper dive. The recent allegations surrounding individuals identifying as transgender are explored in detail. Like this video delves deeper into the complexities of trans identity, right? So it clearly thinks that I'm a trans creator. It clearly thinks that I'm an issues creator, talking about issues. So I'm just trying to skew it, which apparently your most recent videos can have a pretty heavy impact on this. So like, just gonna make like 10 movie reviews in a row, and maybe go back and gradually continue deleting old political content, especially the stuff that didn't perform very well or isn't performing now. Because apparently another one of the things that YouTube really cares about is people coming back to your content. You know, I feel like this is a real big difficulty for people who are making daily content, because like if you're like Vosh or like Philip DeFranco and you're making political content that's like reaction to what's happening today, it moves so fast that something you talked about last week might not even be relevant. Like, oh, it turns out that person got fired or whatever. So, it doesn't really have evergreen lasting effect, which is kind of what we were dealing with when we were constantly talking about the daily political machinations, the daily, oh, this new law changed or whatever. And so that stuff doesn't really hold for very long. It's not relevant for very long. So now, like, that's something I'm kind of looking at on the channel too, is like, is there stuff that could be more evergreen? And that's one of the great things about media analysis. Like, it's just, as I post more media related content, I think YouTube will try out some of my similarly tagged content. So like, okay, yeah, I made this video recently about homophobia in The Last of Us. And I think that since that video is also tagged as like a movie review, basically, then okay, if a video of mine does well and it has movie review content, then it might try, oh, well, this other video on this channel is also movie content. So let's see if that'll do better if we show it to a couple more people. I'm starting to understand kind of how this fucking machine works. And I'm gonna, I guess, just like start trying to please it. That's what you have to do. You have to try to please the machine. For some reason, a lot of the queer people I know are horror fans, maybe because it feels more relatable. I've noticed this too. I've noticed that queer people tend to be like trans people. Um, they tend to be into horror, and I don't really understand it because I personally am not into horror. I think that I just have too much anxiety and shit. Um, it's not really what I want, but I think that that is interesting to look into, like what reasons. Maybe it feels more like you, maybe it gives you a sense of control that you can watch a movie. And like I know for some people, like horror content is their comfort stuff, like they revisit it, they go back to it. um yeah. And maybe in order to discuss some of the themes, because horror is really interesting and unique in its way of portraying theme. Like, what is it we're actually scared of? You know, like what is it that we're actually exploring with this? Like, obviously, vampire is technically in like the horror genre, and it often is a way of expressing class issues. And so, like, all these different monsters and stuff can kind of hold different thematic purposes depending on their context and how they're used in the story. Huge fan of the body horror genre, and maybe it's just me not liking my body or the idea of the body being revolting. I don't know. That's one of the ones that I have the hardest time with. I have a really hard time with body horror because I'm like viscerally very upset by it. Maybe that'll be less and less as I'm about to start like hunting and therefore gutting small animals. So maybe that would be a little bit less troubling with more exposure. And we were talking about doing some horror, the podcast that I do with Gayfesh and Demon Mama on the YouTube channel at Gayfesh. Uh, it is, we were thinking about doing some horror stuff for Halloween this year. And of course, because there's a delay in when the episodes are coming out, we would have to do it like this summer. So we were talking about maybe doing it relatively soon and just try, yeah, like let's do some horror stuff. So I'm going to be exposing myself a little bit more to that kind of thing anyway. I mean, y'all recommended to me. I have like documents where I've like written down all the movie recommendations I've gotten. Someone recommended a Cronenberg movie from 2022 that isn't even a trans movie. It was just like, oh, this is something you could read a trans allegory into. Like, okay, yeah, body horror meets gender, apparently. Do links work? I don't think links work in the YouTube chat, unfortunately. I will host horror movie nights in the server. I don't I don't know why, but I'm not the biggest fan of like Discord movie watching. I don't know. Dude, I need to get back into some of my hobbies like crochet. I don't have any crochet um projects in the mix right now, and I haven't since I moved here. What Cronenberg movie? I don't know, man. Crimes of the Future was the one that was recommended to me. Yeah, I'm just not a body horror person. Is my hair still wet? Oh my god. My hair stays wet for forever. Yeah, I need to read more about Amanda Bynes later. I don't know that movie. That's one of your favorite movies ever. I don't know that one. I think I get to drink gin and tonic tonight. I think that's why my partner wanted me to make more ice. Because I think that we get to try and drink some gin and tonics. So that's something I'm looking forward to later. I'm pretty excited about that. They're so fresh and zingy. Cronenberg is good, but his early stuff is very rough. I mean, yeah, the thing is Cronenberg, right? So, like, I've seen some old Cronenberg. Later, Quantum Chaos, have a good night. Videodrome is a much better allegory for escaping the paradigm. Okay. I have very broad taste. I'll go with anything for a couple hours as long as it isn't outright boring raffle. Yeah, we were doing a thing where we were like watching movies pretty regularly. We haven't gotten back into it since, like, again, me being an insane person for like 2 months. But like, my partner just asked me this week. He was like, "We watched the Mario movie, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think we did." Like, we were doing other things. We second screen experienced it, so like whatever. But he was like, "Yeah, but we've done that with other movies, and I've actually remembered watching them." So I guess the Mario movie must have been super mid. And it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was extremely unremarkable. If you want a more mainstream body horror, I would recommend Substance, which talks about beauty standards for women in the media industry. I have heard that Substance is good. I don't know if it is something that would fit into my like queer movie recommendations at the moment, but I can put it on the list to look into it later. I like most things. I did not like the Mario movie. Okay, well, I feel vindicated then. Oh gosh, what did you say? What was I about to type? What is wrong with me? Substance. That's what I was gonna type. Substance. Cool. If you watched the trailer, you functionally watched the Mario movie. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. All right. I'm not gonna watch it again. I have not seen the Mario movie. Yeah, I think it's just on. It's on one of the things that I have a subscription to. What is it, on Disney Plus or something? So it was like, oh, it's just available. Let's just go ahead and watch it. We were spending all day doing Lego. I feel like I don't have a lot that's interesting that's going on recently. Like, truly, I am reduced to this level of like, okay, I'm gonna try to exercise for 5 minutes and see and hope that that doesn't make me crash out for the next several days. Like, I have no idea. It's on Prime. Dude, Prime... I'm so annoyed with Prime. And the fact that, like, you have these services that you pay for, but they still show you fucking ads. Like, really? Really? Is my $12 a month not enough for you? You have to show me ads? You have to disrupt my watching experience? I just watched all of Invincible over again, and it's like, I'm gonna watch it on Amazon Prime because I want them to know that I want them to keep making more. Like, hey, yeah, I will continue to watch this TV show in the off season because you keep fucking making it, please. Um, but the ads are just so obtrusive and like repetitive. It's not like watching TV where every commercial break would be something different, right? It was curated for at least that 1 hour. And then you would like whatever. But yeah, it's like the same ads over and over again. It's so shit. I love Invincible. Yes, I love Invincible too. And I've read the entire compendium, not the extended stuff. Like, we don't have the Invincible Universe compendium with Adam Eve on the cover, but we do have all three of the main Invincible compendiums, and I read all of them recently. And then I discovered that there are a million billion people making videos about Invincible, and now I am considering making a video about Invincible and how the show is better than the comics in regards to the female characters are better. Do ads even work? Whenever I see an ad, I actively get mad at the product. Occasionally, I've had ads work on me. For the most part, they don't really work on me. But, for example, I'm like trying to have like a pretty high protein diet. And so over the course of the last couple years, I've been trying to increase how much protein I get. And one of the ways that you can do that pretty easily is with protein bars. But protein bars are like a heavily processed product that have a lot of shit in them. And so I was like, oh, I really wish that I could find some product that's a protein bar but is like simple ingredients and is like less heavily processed. And then I got an ad for RX Bar, which is now my favorite protein bar. Like, they're amazing because they literally it's just made with like dates and egg whites and nuts and like salt. Like, they're really, really, really good. Ah, you see, that's how we get money to make 10 shows a week instead of just 6. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much hate for TV show Amber, and I'm like, you motherfuckers just want a generic white girl like she was in the book. All of the female characters are improved in the TV show. Like, all of the girls in the Invincible comics, they either don't have very much going on outside of Mark, or like they engage in mean girl shit, or something. Like, there's something about every female character basically in the comics that makes them unrelatable, and they are objectified and sexualized, even though the author probably considered himself to be fairly progressive. And like, he does write strong female characters to some. I mean, like, Adam Eve has like the most fucking insane powers. They're really incredibly powerful, but like, yeah, it is something that has been almost only improved by adaptation. Will you be going to Pride event on the 28th? Is that when Portland Pride is? Probably not. I don't know. I have zero desire to go to Portland Pride. I haven't made any plans to go to any Pride event specifically at this time. I've thought about it, but I don't know. I don't know anyone here, and I'm feeling really sad after having seen like a whole bunch of my friends together at the Pride event that I went to last year, and so I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't know anybody. It would be kind of sad. And it's not like I would be going to like a park that I like. Oh, Pride in Eugene. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what our plans are for the next few weeks, so we'll see. Maybe. I'd have to reserve overall judgment until the show is actually finished, but from where it stands now, I consider it an improvement on the book in terms of pacing and characterization. I also like the themes. I do think that Invincible, the show, has better themes than the comic, but of course, you know, a comic is coming out maybe not literally week by week, but you know what I mean? Like, it's coming out bit by bit and it might not have an overarching plan. Like the dude expected the comic to only go through its 13th issue. So the fact that it went to like 144 issues, like, okay, yeah, you're kind of making shit up on the fly to an extent. And yeah, so I think that for that reason, a lot of adaptations are better than their original source material just because you have more time to really think through and set up the themes and like what are we really trying to explore here? What are we trying to say? I really don't like it when I'm watching something and I suddenly realize that it is not there's no theme. There's no underlying message. There's no like there's no like literary analysis you could do to it to make it like enjoyable in that way. And I think that the Invincible comic, how do I say this without spoiling it for people who haven't read and for people who want to watch the show? The comic, I think, falls into some feel-good tropes that make it kind of unsatisfying. And I will leave that there. But like, yeah, so I think that the themes that they're trying to build up in the show are much more interesting. And I'm looking forward to them maybe having like something to say about the nature of good and evil or like what it means to be a hero or a villain. It feels like they were trying in the comics to explore that, but that they didn't really have like a conclusion. Like, are the Viltrumites, like, are they actually, I don't know, like, are they trying to do something good for the universe? Like, do they perceive themselves as the good guys? Like, I don't know. There's so much bullshit. The comic ran 17 years. He did not have the whole thing arced out. Yeah, totally. Go to Seattle Pride. You have friends up there. I know. I still haven't been to Seattle since I got here, and I need to make plans to do that. I was initially just assuming I would go by myself because I'm the one who knows a bunch of people who live up there. And then my partner at some point said something about us going to Seattle, and now I feel like if I go by myself, then that would be rude. So now I have to like coordinate with him when we're going. And it probably is more likely to happen after he gets a new vehicle, which he's going to try to do here soon, because he is going to get a vehicle that we would be able to like sleep in. So we could visit and then like stay overnight and not have to like haul ass there and back all in one day. Hasn't Kirkman gone on record saying that the changes are things that he would make to the comics because he's grown as a person since then? I am not aware of those specific comments, but it would make a lot of sense because he is a writer on the show. How have you not gone to Seattle? It's a kind of long drive. And I just haven't been wanting to do it. Trans Pride Seattle is mask mandatory. Okay, when is that? Let me look it up. Trans Pride Seattle. June 27. Okay. That's a Friday. I think I would have to go to that by myself. Yeah. I don't think my partner is going to be home in time for me to drive to that. Bummer, though. But sadly, there are a few cases where the source material is a 100% better example. Dragon Ball. Sure, I don't know anything about the comics, the manga on Dragon Ball, so I'm not going to make any declarative statements. But like the other main reference that I have right now, where I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, I think that adaptations often are better. Like, okay, so for books, often the adaptation is not as good as the book, but that's partially because you can imagine everything in the book in your head. And so it kind of can't live up to those standards. But The Last of Us, I think, is an excellent adaptation. And well, but I think it's partially because it's being adapted by the original creators. I think that's probably a big difference. That an adaptation is, I think, kind of doomed to be somewhat disappointing to the original audience if the original creators are not heavily involved in the adaptation. Like, part of why I'm excited for Aragon on Disney Plus is that the author is a big part of the show. Like, he's a writer on the show, I think. So yeah, having a person be able to go, okay, this is how we can best take my material and adapt it for film. And if you have to be skilled at the two different things, though, because writing a book is a totally different skill to writing a screenplay. Writing and directing a video game, I think, is a little bit closer, especially if what we're talking about is like a game that has a lot of cutscenes in it. Like, okay, then you are kind of functionally already halfway there to like the sort of role that a director would have for a TV show. Um, so as long as you have the eye for what works in different mediums, then like, yeah, a person who writes a book could be really good at writing a TV show as long as they understand what's important to either expand on or shrink from the original material. Yeah, imagine a world where Harry Potter was not adapted and the story is just buried forever. Right. It's crazy. I watched a video that really went into the whole, I mean, basically there was a concerted effort on the part of the publishers. They were like, we're going to aggressively push this because we are going to be because we think this is going to be a successful franchise, but they pushed it, and it probably wouldn't have done so well if they hadn't marketed it so aggressively. Yeah, they're properly adapting Aragon. You can, if you ever are interested in seeing what's going on with it, you can check out Christopher Paolini's Twitter account. Let me see what he's been saying about it recently. When was the last time you were talking about it? What is the most recent news? I really hope that by the time we start to get any serious news about the Paolini show, that the channel has more pivoted. Because like, even y'all know the Dragon series that y'all wanted me to do. You were like, yo, let's do a smash or pass on the dragons. I'm like, I kind of would like to just do that here on this channel, but it has to be after we kind of shift over more and establish like, okay, this is more of a books and videos, like books and movies channel instead of like a fucking politics channel. What's the news about the TV show? Oh my gosh, he went on a tear about AI. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, dude. He's just writing a bunch of other shit right now. But I thought I saw a post from him recently that was like, yeah, I'm working on all kinds of stuff, including like editing manuscripts for the TV show. Hmm. Oh man, another great question that I'm asking myself right now is because I recently um I recently switched back my icon away from the gender anarchy symbol because I was applying for a real person job and wanted to seem more palatable as a potential employee. But also, like, it doesn't really fit anymore if I'm going to be doing movie content. So I don't know. Like, if I do eventually change the channel to Musing Moss, then I do have an idea already for that, which Dizzy helped me work on. I've heard that Paolini is not well liked by his peers because he's super arrogant and prideful. Like, oh, I was a genius writer in high school type vibe. Um, sure. That's fine. I I'm okay with the author of my favorite series being a weird fucking guy. Um, it's like the least of my concerns of any author that I could like the work of. It would be a pretty bad for me. It would be a pretty bad day for me if it turns out that Paolini has like some aggressively anti-trans positions, for example. But he has not said anything about that, which leads me to believe that he probably does share some of the anti-trans beliefs, but I am living in denial about that. New art of Happy Dragon. But dragons, okay, you got to understand, dragons are not like recognizable branding in this day and age. Everybody's got a fucking dragon. It is not like recognizable branding. Also, hi, trans cat dad. Hi. As long as he doesn't want us dead, right? Yeah, I mean, basically, like, I don't know. I was so mad when the Aragon movie came out forever ago. What movie? What are you talking about? There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. I'm kidding. Do a video about if they them is a neopronoun, or have you done that before? So that is explicitly what I'm trying to get away from. I'm not trying to be like, how dare you by saying this, but like doing educational content about queer issues is exactly what I don't want to fucking deal with anymore. Like I know that there is a world where I could stop talking about political content on the daily and go back to making like, here's the difference between non-binary and binary trans or whatever. But I hate that shit. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. And also they, them, I don't think is a neopronoun. I don't think that it is a neopronoun in the way that we think of neopronouns. Someone being rude or arrogant is not a deal breaker for me unless they're a monster. I've also heard that apparently, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard someone say that Paolini, that he needed to have like a handler for himself on tour, because when he was on tour, he would always end up looking at like porn or something. I have no idea. I didn't really look into this claim very deep. Again, I'm okay with the author being a weird guy. I don't need him to be like a not we. Listen, weird people are authors. It's like people say that oh my god, Eli, whatever his name is, who wrote the Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality, is a weird guy. And I'm like, yeah, a normal person doesn't write Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. Neo means new, singular they, them dates back to Shakespeare, as in the time that we consider the start of modern English. Yeah, so it would be hard to say that it's a new pronoun. There's a movie... Oh, yes! Dude, you're right. Pink Closet. Thank you for reminding me. They/them. That is, that's the one about the conversion camp with Kevin Bacon in it, right? I did want to watch that. I didn't expect it to be that great, so I'm not surprised that Gayfesh says that it's not that great. But I do want to put it on my list of movies to watch, because, listen, I'm gonna run out of shit to watch at some point in the future, and that day is not today. You've been doing that queer education content for like 9 years, so I can't really blame you for being tired of it. So yeah, actually, so I went back and like deleted a bunch of videos off my channel, and I previously had already made a bunch of videos private. My first videos that I was uploading on this channel was in, and actually it might have been before this, because I think I may have deleted the earliest videos on this channel. 2013. I recently went and deleted some videos from 2013, and the flavor of those videos was stuff like, I didn't like that people were calling religious people delusional. I felt like that was a conflation of religiosity with actual mental illness symptoms. And so one of the very first videos on this channel was like, religiosity does not equal mental illness, and like, stop calling religious people mentally ill. So I've really been making like that kind of educational content for 12 years. And I started my physical transition. Like, I started hormones um, when I was 21. So that was 10 years ago that I started making like trans timeline content. Your most viewed video is no longer an STP review. Yeah, I just last night made that video private because I'm like, this video, it's like not getting ads. It's age restricted, so it's not getting pushed to very many people. And so that one I don't have it in me. I don't have it in my heart yet to fully delete that one, but it is not my most viewed public video on my channel anymore. I took it down. Which is kind of sad, I guess. It got like 600,000 views. And it still, in the last 28 days, has gotten 47 views. But I'm not making any fucking money on that. And it's not what my channel is about anymore. Oh, YouTube is being weird. Ooh, I need to grab another water. So I'm gonna just run and do that really fast. If you need to get yourself some water, I recommend you do that really quick. But I'll be right back, and don't go anywhere. I'll cry. Okay, I'm back. Hello. I recently went back and watched your video in response to the Pulse nightclub shooting from 2016. You've been talking about this stuff for so long. Did I take that one down? I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find it just in my videos. I don't have anything with a title that says Pulse. Yeah, it's possible that I took that down. I kind of just like deleted a whole bunch of shit without. There's some things that I left from years ago, like the Art AIDS America Chicago event review thing. Yeah, actually searching by date might be a better, more efficient way to do that. It was like in 2016, that's when the Pulse shooting was. Oh my god. There's so many videos that I still would like to delete. I am definitely not finished deleting videos. Yeah, I don't... Oh, ow. I don't think I have that one still. Yep. It's been 5 ever. I still have all of these, like, on a hard drive somewhere. I just, you know, they're just not live on the channel anymore. Aw, jeez. Aw, jeez. I don't know why, Milena, you're, like, reminding me. Aw, jeez. How is it going over there at Rick and Morty? Has anybody watched it since they got rid of Justin Roiland? He did a 1 or 2 voices in Invincible. I'm like, yeah, dude. I didn't know this until very recently, but Ezra Miller voiced D.A. Sinclair in the first season of Invincible and was recast. But now that I know that, I'm like, oh, I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear the Ezra Miller in D.A. Sinclair. Damn. Ooh, there's 47 likes. That's kind of nice. Feel free to hit the like button if you haven't already. Getting to 50 likes would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty fun. How confusing will it be for people who start to come to this channel because of my movie review content, and then they come over onto the streams and we still talk about politics shit? They're gonna be like, whoa, that's crazy. Yes, motherfucking Doug Cheston. Yep. Who is a pretty cool character, all things considered. Yeah. Yeah, Doug Cheston and D.A. Sinclair, same episode. Recast to someone better than Ezra. Yeah, it's some dude. I think it's some dude named Steve or something. Like, D.A. Sinclair. Voice actor. I already looked this up recently. Eric Bauza. Eric Bauza. Bauza is the new guy who voices D.A. Sinclair. It's like, I guess it's fitting for Ezra Miller to have voiced someone who was that fucked up and evil. And as D.A. Sinclair moves forward in his plot, it would make sense to voice him by a less terrible person. Is there a benefit to watching this stream on YouTube versus your site? Oh, so can someone tell me, is it true that we don't get ads on the website? Is it like, do ads not play on an embed while it's live? I'm not sure. Obviously, like, if you donate to me through the website, I prefer that because I get to keep a greater portion of the money. Like, YouTube takes up to 30% or maybe even more of the money that gets donated to me through YouTube. So that's preferable. So I guess there is that, are you going to be just watching ads, or are you going to be doing a donation? I don't get ads on the website, but I have premium. Yeah. If you have premium, then yeah, I don't think that that's a fair fair way to compare. I did still leave a video from 2013 public on my channel, and it's a video of a cat of mine who has now passed away. He was a sweet boy. A lot of people have been hating on the last season and the newest one of Rick and Morty, but I personally have been pretty happy with the overall vibe and have found it feeling more like the first few seasons, just with some of the canonical baggage tossed around pretty comically in my eyes. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I really don't care that much about Rick and Morty. Again, it's not really saying much, I don't think. But maybe I would need to rewatch it with fresh eyes. But, you know, we got to Pickle Rick, and it really was like, wow, we're just doing things for the sake of doing them. Which is, it can be fun sometimes. It's just not really what I'm looking for when I'm watching TV. Probably going to try to catch up on Star Wars Andor this week because I haven't watched any Star Wars Andor season 2, and I need to be able to I want to be able to talk to Gayfesh and Demon Mama about it, even though we are not recording a podcast yet. We will do that at some point, but hot take, Pickle Rick was a great episode. The fans are what ruined it. Fair enough. I guess, yeah, there is that whole, like, the therapist really does call him out on his shit thing. And that was probably some of the most astute social commentary that show has ever made. So yeah, I can see that take. I've never watched any Star Wars. I think Star Wars is interesting to watch now that I'm an adult and I know that it's all been political always. Like, it's all been critical of the United States empire the entire time. Like, it's always been that. Hoot! The bird has arrived. The bird. But it's just, you know, Star Wars Andor, first season at least, was so aggressively political. And people keep referencing season 2. I think they're making a season 2 reference. Again, I'm trying to avoid anything about Andor, so I maybe slide past things that are season 1. Technically, we're going to get started on Andor season 2 in a month for the podcast. But I can watch it before then. I don't have to do what I did last time, which is, like, I watched the episodes as we were recording the podcast. But I don't have to do that this time. I could just watch it and know everything about it. But it's like, people are referencing it a lot lately, and so I feel like, yeah, it has relevant political messages that make it quite interesting. Ooh, and if I want to make commentary about Star Wars Andor for my original channel for some reason, I can always drive traffic toward the podcast and be like, hey, if you want to hear me talk about this in more depth with other people, go to the podcast. I personally, like, okay, this is a tricky thing. Is like, do you hop on trends or is it just getting repetitive? You know, like, if something is popular, if something's just coming out, then is your thing going to drown in a sea of a whole bunch of other people making similar content? Or are people watching, like, a bunch of different content of that thing, and they'll watch, like, a lot of it? Yes, we have a podcast. It's Gayfesh's podcast called The Many Worlds Hypothesis. We talk with Demon Mama about movies and TV shows and stuff. And right now we are doing the Star Trek movies from the original series. Just this week we recorded the one for Star Trek 5, and we're going to finish those. And then oh yeah, so basically we're going to do Star Wars Andor right after we do the Star Trek movies, because we have 2 more Star Trek movies, which is going to take us a month. Or are there only 6? Are there only 6? The algorithm has a very short attention span, so I would advise getting on the bandwagon while it's hot. That's fair, yeah. But, like, I don't want, like, for example, I don't want Gayfesh to feel like, oh, like I'm just over here making content about the thing that we have already planned to talk about on the podcast. You know? I see. Okay, yes. So we are only watching one more Star Trek movie, and then we'll watch Andor. So in 1 month from this week, we're gonna start watching or start recording Andor episodes. By the way, it's cool to see you get to have fun making a video. I've watched your stuff for years, and it's just nice to see. Thank you. I feel better making dumb fucking videos. Like, that movie was so fun. She's the Man. It was such a fun movie. And I can discuss, serious movies and everything, but it's just so much more interesting and fun to do that. Yeah. And it is crazy. People have been supporting me through a lot of different changes in my personal life, in the channel. It did start out as like documenting my transition and talking about social issues, like whatever I wanted to talk about, or like sometimes I would do silly shit and it just kind of was whatever. And then like now going through this like hardcore political content phase and live streaming, and now switching to something else. It's really cool that people have stuck around through so many of these changes. And plenty of people haven't stuck around. Obviously there's people who subscribed back when I was talking about ContraPoints all the time, and now that I don't talk about that, they don't watch. Or people who subscribed because of a drama video that I made who don't watch the rest of my content. Obviously there are fits and starts, and people don't always stick around for everything, but it is really cool that there are people who've been around for a long time. Okay, my eyeball just doesn't want to work all of a sudden. Just for content in general. Yeah, no, totally. I get what you mean. Honestly, every time I'm also not as into some stuff, your content changes before I can leave. I'm like the perfect ADHD creator. Like, I get bored with this thing and I'm like, I gotta switch to doing something completely else. I don't know. And like, what's gonna happen next? Am I gonna make movie review content for the next 4 years and then decide that I want to do something else? Like, maybe. Oh my god. Eric has been around since the Teen Skeptic era. Holy shit. I started writing for Teen Skeptic when I was like, literally, I think 18. So that's been 13 years, and that's like my entire adult life. That's crazy. It's fun watching you evolve. True. I'm just I'm a little thing in the terrarium, and you can just watch me change. I keep changing up the layout for the podcast because I need to keep things interesting for myself. Yeah, it seems like you get a lot of enrichment out of it. Like, it seems like you get a lot out of it, so I appreciate it. I would not put as much work into it. I'm sitting here thinking, like, I don't even know what is an appropriate set of graphics for my channel to even have anymore. Maybe I just need to take better pictures, newer pictures of myself, and just stick with a headshot as the main image. But then, like, I don't have very much to go with merch. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. Is all of Star Wars worth watching? Is all of Star Wars worth watching? I think it'll give you a common frame of reference for a lot of cultural things. But, like, can you skip the prequels? Probably. Do you need to watch The Rise of Skywalker? Probably not, I'm going to a union organizing training event hosted by the IWW next weekend. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's good to learn how to organize people. I quit my job yesterday because a transphobic coworker had me totally spiraling, so it'll be refreshing to be with the IWW for a minute. Wow. Yeah, I saw that you posted on your community tab about you were going to process, or you were going to talk about you're being let go from that job or you quitting that job, but you were like not ready to talk about it yet. I wish you all the best in finding something new. It's really hard in this day and age. It's really brave to quit your job when you're like, I guess, like in the middle of like a lot of changes in life. June says, I'm so annoyed they didn't go down the nihilist path of actually the Jedi are evil too, if you think about it for 5 seconds. Yeah, there really is never like an examination of, the um, unethical practices of their monastic order. Been here since 2020. My wife has been watching your videos for longer and introduced me. You were the first streamer I started watching and are the only one really left for me personally. My wife has a few others, but I've really stepped back because I want to be cautious around the baby, brain growing fast, and recording random data like a half finished AI. And I want to avoid damaging the code. I guess I'm glad that you feel that it's acceptable for your baby to absorb all of the random shit that I say. Like, yeah, I guess cool. Cool that you feel like it's, yeah, I can be part of this baby's brain development. That's great. The good news is I'm doing a pretty expensive commission of lino cuts right now, so I'll be okay without a job for about a month. Nice. Hell yeah. I respect so much like the hustle that so many people have. I guess, I shouldn't discount what I do. What I do is a certain type of hustle. But when people are making something materially and they make that their job, um, like it's really impressive. And I've been thinking about that because I am a primarily a content creator and I do like to make things and I do see content where people make stuff. It's like people make soap. People do make and sell their crochet or crochet patterns. And so I have contemplated at times like, what if I shifted into like making stuff content? But I don't think I can. Like, I think that that would be way too much. Like, I struggle so much with finding that creative spark, even when that is not my job. I think what I'm going to try to do is find a creative spark with like YouTube shorts or something. Like, making YouTube shorts that are specifically supposed to be YouTube shorts that have cross platform viability, like, that might also work on TikTok and Instagram and that are less like what it is now, which is like a 1 minute hot take on some political thing. But I struggle with creative energy and I think it would suck so bad to go into something like soap making because that's also going to take up a huge amount of space that I don't presently have. Hot take, Anakin did bring balance to the Force. Before beforehand, there were only a few Sith and thousands of Jedi, and after his actions, you had Yoda and Obi-Wan versus Vader and Palpatine. Balanced. True. True. Can't disagree. He did bring balance to the Force. I did see the pictures of your lino cuts, dude. That's really neat. It's like, again, like a lot of dedication and work that I respect a lot to create things with a physical end product. Apparently, Kitty has judged me as a good vibe for kids to experience. Cool. I have had people tell me that I should be a teacher before, and that sounds like a special kind of hell, but I do think that education is something that I'm good at. Also, who the hell decides what parts of the Force are the light versus the dark side? Yeah, how are we judging that? We're just kind of taking it for granted. carving rubber stamps is super fun. I highly recommend you try it. One of my favorite pieces of artwork that I have ever made I made in school, and it was a linoleum thing where like you would paint the linoleum and then put it down, and then you would like carve more of it, and then you would put down like a bunch of different prints of it. It was fun. Like the Jedi mind trick, if it didn't already exist in Star Wars and was introduced in a new Star Wars thing, people, yeah, it would absolutely be categorized as a dark side power. Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing mind control if it wasn't done by a good guy in the first place. I feel like they don't really. It's like, is every single time you draw on the Force, you are either drawing on specifically light side energy or dark side energy? Like, is there any such thing as just a value neutral, like we're just using the Force in general? Like, when you have fast reflexes, do you only get fast reflexes in either light or dark flavor? As someone pursuing being a special ed teacher, you have the vibe for it. You can do teaching stuff outside schools too, like youth clubs and resources. Yeah, and I know that like having looked into environmental stuff recently, that there are plenty of educational and outreach positions for environmentalism. Like you can give tours and shit like that. Mm. I prefer the more advanced aspect of light versus dark being more of an expression of stoicism versus impulsivity. It's not so much good versus evil as balancing the aspects of your own soul. That's fair. What we learned from Star Wars, or what we were supposed to learn, is that any closed governing body that separates itself from the population will fail that population or eventually enslave it. You have to keep the government and the people close because if there is too much distance, hundreds of people dying becomes a statistic instead of a personal tragedy. That is a good point. Physical augmentation and other such types are considered gray. But like, is gray, does that mean that you're drawing on good on like the light and dark side of the Force at the same time? I think you draw on energy that matches your own in that moment, not explicitly a light or dark thing. Mm. This is why I love seeing the Force examined outside the Jedi slash Sith dichotomy, like the magic of the Night Sisters of Dathomir. It's dark side coded, but Night Sister Marin is a main character in the Respawn Jedi games, and she is a good person. Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit as well of the shit. Gayfesh, you would know this. What's the name of Tilda Swinton's character in Doctor Strange? The ancient one. She is like a good character who draws on dark side energy in that same kind of way, basically. Like, is kind of how I am fitting her into a dichotomy of good versus bad, or like light versus dark Force energy. That you can hypothetically be a good character and still draw on the bad thing. Oh yeah, go hang out with your friend who is going to be cancer free as of tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Have a good night and good luck to them tomorrow. Gray is chaotic neutral in Jedi world, in my opinion. You never know when they might agree with the other side or why they did it. Morally complex. It's DBT. Never seen Star Wars. Oh, like when Zuko wasn't angry enough to firebend? Yeah, I guess like the firebending has two different you can use light side firebending or dark side firebending. Okay. Milena is drawing a similarity. So like emotion mind is the Sith and rational mind is the Jedi, but gray Jedi or neutral Force users are wise mind. I like that. I like that comparison, especially because I do think that there is a reading of Anakin Skywalker where he just has BPD. Like, if he didn't, if it wasn't that there were supernatural forces like working upon him, he just would have BPD, I'm pretty sure. Hot take: the best seduction to the dark side story in Star Wars as a whole is in Rebels when Maul seduces Ezra. Ooh, I'm not familiar with that. Like, do I need to watch more different Star Wars things too? Because I still haven't seen The Mandalorian. Like, I guess Andor was the other main TV show that I wasn't watching. So I've seen first season of Andor. I still haven't seen The Mandalorian. I haven't seen Rebels. I don't think there's such thing as true neutral. I think true neutral is a mix of the extremes. Yeah, that's kind of the impression that I'm getting from Star Wars itself. You know, I'm thinking of The Last Jedi, which is kind of one of the most intimate portrayals of what it's like to be in contact with the Force when Rey is first exploring it on the island. And it seems like, yeah, that light Force energy is distinct from dark Force energy. So a gray Jedi would necessarily have to be like drawing from both power sources at the same time. Or I guess it depends on the task, right? Like, apparently, according to the books at least, like Mace Windu draws on the dark side when combat or whatever. Jess Zendrex, hello. Indeed, long time no see. I mean, we've chatted in private, but you haven't been at the stream in a while, so it's good to see you. What's up? Rebels is a good show. Also, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is literally just like a movie running parallel with episode 3, and it's amazing. I also haven't seen the Clone Wars, I don't think. Magic commonly can be used in either anger or in calm separation. Oftentimes, angry casting can be more potent but harder to control or direct. Calm and separated allows you to use all the tools in your belt, more like a surgeon. Yeah, with precision. Jess is on the actual chat. Hello. Mace Windu uses Form 7 Vapad, and it's basically like lightsaber force judo. Fucking amazing. Sounds like you're having a very relaxed night, Jess. I was telling chat earlier that I'm pretty sure that I get to drink gin and tonic tonight. Because my partner was like, hey, can you remove the ice from the ice mold and then put more water in there? So, and he got like those giant chunky pieces of ice. So I think it's time for gin and tonics. I'm excited. I agree, Samantha. I do think the stealing children from their parents thing is really creepy, and that's not a good thing that the Jedi do. I think it's bad. The Clone Wars animated series is honestly some of the best Star Wars outside of the original trilogy. I will take that into consideration. I'm sure there's so many different things that I'm like, okay, maybe I will just become a movie nerd. It would be very easy for me to become a movie nerd, like, properly. I was watching an interview with Chris Evans because they, not really, I basically just watched a YouTube short, I guess, of, I think the movie is The Materialists. So it's Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson, and Chris Evans are like the main 3 stars of it. And what they were doing was trivia from movie quotes. So Pedro Pascal was like reading movie quotes, and then Dakota and Chris, or I think it was all 3 of them. Maybe somebody off screen was reading them and then they were having to guess or something. I don't know. But Chris Evans is such a fucking movie nerd. He was like, oh, that's when Harry met Sally. Like the quote hadn't even finished and he was like, Harry met Sally. And I love that. I think being a movie nerd is adorable. I think it makes a person, it's very endearing. I'm Star Wars out, TBH. I used to be the biggest Star Wars fan. Well, I'm a late bloomer. I'm a late Star Wars bloomer. Of course, my dad took me to see the prequels in theaters when I was a kid. Like, he had seen the original ones. I'm sure I had seen the original ones. I didn't really care or get them until more recently. So I'm more recently on this train. And, of course, that was what we started with on our podcast when no, it's not. We started with Marvel, but it was one of the things we led with on the podcast with Gay Fashion Demon Mama was Star Wars Andor, which is actually we separated that out into 4 different episodes where we talked about like 3 episodes, 4 episodes, 2 episodes. And the first 3 episodes of Andor, I was like, oh, this isn't even like Star Wars. And I think that was what it needed. It needed to set itself up in a way that felt almost disconnected from the broader Star Wars universe, where I'm like, I'm fucking tired of hearing about the same 3 people or like whatever. And, you know, I made a comment in the first episode about how like, oh, I'm glad that there's no stupid stuff with like the Senate here. And then I actually ended up liking some of the stuff that they did when they brought in the Senate stuff later, because I was like, oh, okay, this feels fresh. Like, it doesn't feel like the same bullshit from what I've already seen. So Star Wars Andor is really good. Gayfesh contends that it may be one of the greatest television series ever made. And it's over now, right? We got season 1, season 2, and now it's over. I still need to watch season 2 before I can make that judgment, but it's really fucking good. The prequels simply are not good. They're better when you go into them informed by Lucas's intentions, but they are just not good filmmaking. Yeah. Skeleton Crew is also a totally new story. It has Goonies and Stranger Things vibes. Yeah, is that he's one of the like the main actor guy in that. Wasn't he also in Captain Marvel? I don't know all the actor names. I'm still working on getting good at all the actor names. Revenge of the Sith is amazing meme material. There's lots of good meme material. Jude Law. Okay, Jude Law is that guy's name. Thank you. Oh my god, guys. Hail hydrate. Water is so good for you. The memes are like why I watched Invincible season 1 in the first place. I mean, Deegan, my partner saw he saw like the post credits scene just kind of out of context, and he was like, oh, that seems really good. I was watching Invincible partially because I just saw so many memes of it. Like, think, Mark. Like, you know, there were just a lot of good memes. Is this the first time you've ever heard me say hail hydrate, Milena? John says Revenge of the Sith is the best of the prequels by a long shot. We did watch those it wasn't even too long ago. It might have even been since we moved in here, and I just wasn't paying that close of attention. I don't really remember. But they're not good movies. That's why you don't remember. Like, here's how I know whether a movie was good. Do I remember it? Don't remember the Mario movie? Must have been a pretty bad movie. Oh, dude, apparently the results of the US trans survey from 2022 have finally been published. Agreed that episode 3 is the best of the prequels, but that is not a high bar. I know the entire rest of the stream is just going to be me yelling at my friend Milena about how she's a fake fan. I know, I know. Finally, the largest trans survey ever. The top reason trans people stop transitioning is transphobia. We knew that already from the 2015 one. But yes, this is from 2022. Over 84,000 trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people from ages 18 and up responded to the survey. And of course, this is focusing on just the one. I think this is just focusing on the one thing of like, yeah, we know why trans people detransition. It's because of lack of social support. Hot take, Andor is the best of the prequels, actually. Fair enough. Nine of respondents who had transitioned, 9% had gone back to living as their sex assigned at birth at some point in their lives, at least for a short while. But in almost every single case, the reason was anti-trans discrimination from one's family, friends, or community. Social and structural explanations dominated the reasons why respondents reported going back to living in their sex assigned at birth at some point. Only 4% of people who went back to living in their sex assigned at birth for a while cited that their reason was because they realized that gender transition was not for them. When considering all respondents who had transitioned, this number equates to only 0.36%. Holy cow! Literally less than 1% of trans people actually detransition. Or like people who transition realize that they're not actually trans. That's crazy. I actually liked Quentin's take on the prequels. He admits that they're clumsy ass movies, but argues that there's still something salvageable and worthwhile within them, which I agree with. As entertainment, they're kind of but they're a bold meditation on the allure of fascism. Yeah, I am fine watching bad movies. I mean, I was telling Demon Mama and Gayfesh this week that I I honestly think it's kind of a virtue that I can like bad movies because then it's like, oh, then I'm not gonna be annoyed when a movie is bad. Instead, I'll just be like, oh, this is a fun movie, and then I can respond to its themes or whatever without being super concerned that it's a bad whatever. Personal opinion, Clone Wars did a shit ton of the heavy lifting in rehabilitating and recontextualizing the prequels. That's fair. Ugh. Yeah, it turns out life is more enjoyable when you can accept things with their flaws and appreciate their strengths. True. Yeah, cool how we found the only almost 100% successful treatment for literally any medical problem and then we're trying to ban it. Yeah, cool. Cool, 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 cool. But yeah, finally, the results of the trans survey are out. 3 years. It took them 3 years to collate all of those responses into coherent data, which is I don't know how long it usually takes, but my eyeballs. Ooh, I have to run an errand after stream. My intention is to run an errand anyway. I too enjoy flawed art. To be frank, nobody likes collating. I don't know. Maybe that's the kind of nerd shit that I would be into. Man, it's crazy trying to keep up with everything that's happening in California right now. And of course, Trump has his little parade planned on, is it Saturday this week? Is that Saturday? It's just gonna be a fucking crazy, gonna be a crazy week. Ooh, congratulations, Jess. Now a permanent employee of the New York State government. Hell yes. I'm so glad that we're all, moving forward in life. It's always good. People at my jobs are always weirded out because I actually enjoy documentation. True. When you prep 90 feet of paper stacked 4 layers and get all of that strip off both sides in one long, endless, satisfying removal, collating can be fun. Oh, jeez. Eric says, depending on the scale of a survey, 3 years is a normal timeline for very careful review and making good charts that people can actually read. Large volumes of data take years. Yeah, and there were 84,000 respondents, which is like the largest ever survey of trans people ever. And I'm going through the water today. It's not even that hot. I did learn that it's possible to make the inside of my house livable, even if it's 97 degrees outside, as long as the AC is running all day. Like, yeah, it is entirely possible to be okay indoors when it's 95 degrees outside. That's what we discovered this week. Thank fucking Christ. Ooh. This headline says antagonism to transgender rights is tied to the authoritarian desire for social conformity, not just partisan affiliation. That's interesting. Which would kind of make sense why even Democrats have like this opposition to supporting trans rights, or like this hesitation to support trans rights, because ultimately it is the majority of humans seem to have a very high priority of social conformity, like a very high value on social conformity. So yeah, trans people make folks uncomfortable. 3 years isn't that bad. A public health data set I worked on was 15,000 and took 14 months between different teams to sort out. Okay, cool. So that's pretty typical. 3 years to put together all that information. And dude, like, part of the reason why I haven't been trying as hard to keep up with what's going on in LA is because it's so obvious that it's just going to be exactly what we saw in 2020 over and over again, which is police riots. Just police riots constantly of, like shooting quote unquote less lethal rounds at people who are just holding signs or playing music, or press. Like, we're already starting to see press being targeted with quote unquote less lethal rounds, which causes people to lose their eye. Like, I think there was a news organization from Australia, and the person who was working got assaulted by the police, and now Australia's pissed off at us, which they should be. But it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna repeatedly see, like, there's video going around circulating at the moment of, there was a woman who is just trying to get to her apartment. Like, the police have decided they're gonna block off this street, and she's just walking up to try to get to her apartment. She's like, hey, can I get past you to like get into the place that I live? And they fucking shoot her with a rubber bullet, which is insane. It's like, Is it not possible to be like, hey, I am not a protester. I need to be escorted back to my domicile. Can you spare an officer to escort me back to where I live? No, you will get shot with a rubber bullet. Okay, that Australian reporter is apparently a right-wing reporter. She works for their version of Fox News. That is very funny. So it's just like more of the same. There's a reason why I don't really go to protests. It's like, I don't really want to lose any of my teeth. I don't really want to, you know, end up having a lot of medical symptoms because I have been denied water. Like, I don't want to have there be any question about what prison I belong in, like, or what jail I belong in, I should say. Yeah, just not worth it to me. It's not what I'm gonna do. Like, you can't even go as an observer because they're specifically targeting press and observers. Apparently the National Guard is just like, um they're just like standing outside of LA federal buildings where there are no protesters. Are we gonna get a sweep to show the empty, no crowd present? No. Okay, we're not gonna get a sweep that's showing that there's no crowd present, but they're all just apparently standing there for no reason. Lawsuit between Disney and Midjourney because some of Disney's IP has surely been caught up in Midjourney's training. So that's pretty fun. Just a bunch of crazy shit happening all the time. I was just scrolling a little bit to see if there's anything worth talking about in the news right now. Yeah, critical support for Disney, I guess. Did you guys see that apparently so like stores, if you buy electronics, like you're supposed to buy that electronic in the electronics part of the store. So like if you're going to buy a new Switch, you have to pay for it at the electronics part of the store. And then they'll put your receipt, like, I have been in situations where they've taped my receipt to the object that I'm going to be leaving the store with, but apparently they've been stapling the receipts sometimes. And some of the Switch 2 screens have been ruined by the workers stapling the receipt to the screen through the box, which seems crazy to me. Like, did you not pad that box a little bit better? You're trying to get it in the slimmest box that it can be in. When I heard that the entire DeviantArt website had been scraped by OpenAI, I was like, oh boy, there is more copyright infringement on there than original art most weeks. Not very smart from the creators, true. Yeah, how is the box so compact? Let me see if I can find pictures. There are a few pictures if you go look on if you Google like 2 holes punctured in there. I think it's mostly the same picture circulating. So it might not be something happening commonly, but it's still funny. Like, fuck Nintendo. Like, my partner and I, like, we each have a Switch. I have a Switch OLED screen. And we bought Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, we each have a copy of each of those games. Who the hell staples it to the box? I mean, like, there's an assumption that there's, like, styrofoam inside the box, I would say. And, like, they staple it so that you can't just rip off the receipt or whatever. Like, I don't know. You could just tape it on there with a lot of tape. That would probably do something. I want to Switch 2, but no money. Yeah. We've just basically decided that it's not worth it to give money to Nintendo. Like, maybe in rare situations, if a game comes out, like, maybe. But for the most part, like, my partner is just over all of their super anti-consumer behavior. And the fact that they're rolling out hardware that is out of date. Like, they keep rolling out hardware that is just not, it's not even modern hardware. It's from 5 years ago. And with tech constantly making all these huge advancements, like, it is just not worth paying so much money for an out-of-date product. Considering a Steam Deck. I've heard good things about Steam Decks, you know. I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard good things. I'm just a PC gamer. That's what I am. I'm over here with my mouse and keyboard, playing World of Warcraft. And then I got my little Razer brand controller with super clicky controller. And I use that to play Stardew Valley. And that's it. I've reached a moment where I've seen Nintendo spending more money on suing fans and people who try to make games inspired by them than making a decent game anymore. Fucking true! Like, why? And like, why are they, like, going after people, like, after they end support? Like, they're ending support. They're no longer going to provide, like, certain games you just can't even get anymore because they've just decided that nobody gets to play those games anymore. And then going after the people who are making those games available through emulation. I still use an Xbox 360 controller. Nice. Just recently have almost completed Enter the Gungeon. Nice. My partner likes that game. I have also returned to the PC Master Race. I just like that I can get individual components of this bitch. Like, I can just give it individual components that are each good. And if I'm like, oh, you know, the graphics on this are kind of bad, then I'll get a new fucking graphics card. There's a guy who just wanted to let more people enjoy the games, and he will be giving Nintendo every dollar he makes till he dies, and he spent 5 years in jail. Fuck Nintendo. Totally. The best Zelda game is Tunic, an indie game. That's funny. It would be nice if every game was on PC. It's true. Hot take, it should be illegal to make walled garden tech systems. I think I know what that means, but I've never heard that phrase before. I'm a PC gamer because my PC is also a PC. If my Xbox was a PC, I'd probably have an Xbox. I mean, I know that in the modern era, Xboxes are loaded with a bunch of apps on them that make them functionally replace a lot of things that you would do on a PC. Like, it has Netflix on it, and it has a browser on it, and fucking, it has a YouTube app on it. Okay, a walled garden, according to NordVPN, is a term used in both the marketing and tech worlds and refers to a closed environment that restricts access to systems, networks, and applications. Walled gardens are commonly used to enhance cybersecurity by isolating users from external threats. But in this case, it's like you can't even access the games anymore when they stop supporting them. Or like you have to be connected to Nintendo Online in order to play your game or some shit like that. And before they add Discord to Xbox. Yeah, I totally see it trending that direction. Xbox literally runs on Windows architecture just with a console skin. Yeah. Can an Xbox run GIMP and OpenOffice and other freeware? Probably not. Yeah, and this is where obviously people start saying like I want to start working in Linux instead because you have access to all of the freeware and you don't have to like oh this whatever it's going to restrict or like reduce optimization for anything that isn't their proprietary software. Hot take, if I buy a game on the Xbox, I should have it on Windows too. Yeah, isn't there a Stardew Valley for the phone? Like, I should just have that by virtue of having Stardew Valley on my computer. June says you can actually use Discord on both Xbox and PlayStation. Ooh, okay. So there is an app for Discord on those platforms. That's convenient. Then you don't have to, like, be on Discord on your phone if you're playing Xbox with your buddies. Well, it's slightly earlier than I intended to get off of here, but it's like, am I really gonna just sit here and vamp for 10 minutes when I plan to get off at 5 when I'm kind of feeling like this is a natural stopping point? So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and log off of here. I have some stuff I need to do this evening, and I do not have Takis tomorrow. I will not be on Takis tomorrow, but I will be on next week. So the next time I'm planning to see you all is gonna be Sunday. At which point, we're just going to shoot the shit on Sunday, as we usually do. I maybe need to come up with something that we are actually supposed to do instead of just having, like, there is no plan for any stream anymore. But, we're going to figure that out as we continue. If the videos are successful enough, then it's possible that we won't need to stream. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, that'll be it for today. I'll see you on Sunday. Be good between now and then. All right? Good night.